Hey, everybody, welcome to the countdown. I'm Nina Taylor.
And I'm Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr. How are you tonight? Miss
I'm
Nina, you look
good.
lovely as usual. But
Thank
we're
you.
not,
You look good too in your suit.
well, yeah, we had a double service today, and I just decided when I came home, I just keep it on. And we could. But see, we both had the same idea. Let's just dress to impress today. Speaking of impressing, let's get right down to the countdown. We're going to go at you with
Yes.
20. We're just going to share some things about it. Jabari Johnson at number 20 with the song One Touch. Heard the song several times. Love the song. Love what he's
Yeah.
doing. Love where God is taking him. I love you, Jabari. We look for God to do bigger and better in you.
Wonderful song. All right. JJ Harrison has our number
Yes.
19 song. It's called Thankful. And I'm
Yes.
wondering why, remember the youthful praise and the whole
Yes.
group thing?
Hmm.
Are we getting away from the choir, the praise team, the group? What are we doing? Is
Well,
everybody a soloist now?
here it is in a nutshell. He and other artists like him are all doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
what they have, I'm finding out, are groups across the country, little sleeves of groups. If they need to go to California, they got people in California they can work with, so on and so forth. And I'll simply say the Stellars is basically the igniter of this because a lot of times, and you know for yourself, you've been there, sometimes you have to make adjustments. And to God be the glory for what they've done. But JJ, and we'll probably talk because I'm hoping he's going to show up to my consecration. When he does, we'll have
You
that.
invited him?
I invited him. I'm always going to invite him. We're friends. So, hey, why not
Uh-huh,
invite your
uh-huh.
friends? And if he can't make it, I do understand. He's a very busy man.
Right, right.
But moving right along, here is our friend Doe with the song When I Pray. And she has been doing marvelous. I think the last year and a half, Doe has really proven herself to
Uh-huh.
be the quality artist that she is.
Yeah.
Just paying attention to what she's doing. Her worship
Mhm.
is amazing. I mean, if you're sitting in the car listening to her song, you will get caught up. I promise you.
Yes, absolutely. I love her. I think she's just getting started. I'm looking for more and more great things to come from her. Now, our brother, Bishop Marvin Sapp,
Yes.
it seems like he's been like away for a little bit. His song is called All in His Hands.
Yes.
It's a great song. Remember, we debuted it actually on the countdown maybe like a month ago. So
Uh-huh.
it's another great song from him. I don't expect anything less from him. I think it's going to be another top five for him.
And it and believe it or not, this week, as a matter of fact, this
Hmm.
album, I say album, okay, I just dated myself. The
No, it's
CD,
okay. You can still say album because that's
the CD
we mean.
just
Okay,
released.
let's explain it. And the album is a bunch of songs on one thing.
Well, see, the difference between an album and a CD is a CD is
Yes,
digitally made, an album was vinyl. That's when you used to have
yes,
old school
yes.
record players with the diamond needle. And if you
Hmm.
jumped too hard and the needle jumped, everybody would get mad because you messed up the music. You know what I'm talking about. We ain't been saved all our life. But
Yeah,
his CD just released, believe it or not, just this week.
yes.
So we're
Uh-huh.
excited for him. Here's
Mhm.
another friend of mine. I met him, I told you, back in 2006, I believe it was. I did a
Mhm.
thing called Praise by the Waves. I hosted that thing from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Zach Williams
Yeah.
and One Accord was one of the groups that was on there. And Zach was such a beautiful individual. We talked, we
Yeah.
laughed, we joked. But when it was time to get down to the get down, this brother can go a minute. And if you've heard this song, Jehovah
Uh-huh.
Jireh, you ain't got to ask no questions.
Yeah.
Just get
Well,
into
it's a great
tune.
song. It's a
Yeah,
great song.
it really is. I mean, if you just want to, I know Christians don't believe in this, but hey, look, if it's a good song and I'm driving, don't bother me. I'll be back when the song is over.
Well, you know what? I'm happy to say that I did another show showcasing a lot of new artists.
Hmm.
Uh, and Zach Williams and his group, and this song are actually featured on that show. But on that show, you'll hear a lot of new people. You're like, who's
Yeah.
that? Who is that? I think these are going to be, probably in the countdown by next year.
You know what?
Of course, he is now.
Some of them may be the countdown by this year. And I know
Yeah.
with the Stellars just around the corner, we're going to hear a lot of these individuals. He's on that
Hmm.
list. All right, number 15. What do you know about Rufus Johnson? What do you know about Rufus?
I forget what we know about Rufus Johnson. Remember, we looked him up. We were trying
Yes,
to find out who he was. His song is called Thank You. As you can
yes,
see, it is slowly making its way, but it did make a big jump from number 18 from last week. This week, number 15. So
yes,
it's making some noise.
yes, it
I
is.
look for this one to make its way to the top 10 as well.
Well, from what I remember, he had worked with a number of people along the
Hmm.
way. So Rufus Johnson is no newbie. He has been
Yeah.
around for a minute. He's one of those, and we like to say in the industry, he paid his dues. And now
Yes.
his due is due. So
Yes.
here he is, and so happy to see him here. And he happens to be sitting in the number 15 spot, which means that he's
Yes.
not far from making the top 10. So Rufus, keep pressing, keep pushing. We're pulling for you. Come on and get it done.
Well, the next song, everybody knows, one of my favorites in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
I told him myself, put me in your top 5. I said, I know it's your wife, your mom, your kids, and then me. Right?
Uh-huh.
This song has been making its way slowly but surely up to the top 10 right now. It's
Amen.
close. It's getting close, but I'm looking for this one to make its way to the top 10. Brian Courtney Wilson with Sure As. Love everything he does.
Yes. 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 Brian, you know what I call him, right? You want to stand
Luther
for him?
Vandross.
Luther Vandross of gospel music. You know,
Yes.
from the day he debuted and came on the scene, and he's kept that smooth, silky sound ever since. And,
Yes.
it's good to know that you can enjoy Jesus and be who
Yes.
God has called you to be. Well,
Absolutely.
here's another fave of mine in terms of a person. When I met her, beautiful individual, we had half decent conversation. We didn't have a lot, but enough to let me know that she wasn't one of them stuck up artists. And I'm sorry to say that, ladies and gentlemen, but there are some artists out there you can't talk to. End of story. Erica,
Well, yeah, there definitely is some. Well,
yeah,
there
you just can't
definitely
talk
is
to them.
people. You can't talk to them, and I'm not really going to blame them fully or say that they're
No,
stuck up or all this. Sometimes they just may be tired.
and I
Uh,
understand. See, I took all that
yes,
into consideration, but here it is in
yes,
a nutshell.
hmm
Being a pastor, being in the limelight, yourself being the same, we have those same moments, but we
yes,
always have to, quote unquote, keep a face, quote unquote, stay in character. And if you're
yes,
tired, I prefer you say, well, listen, I'm a little exhausted. Can we do this later, or can we talk later? And
yeah,
I told you, and no disrespect, and anybody watching, I want you to just take it with a grain of salt. A particular artist back in '09, we were on the same plane going down to the Cellars when it was down at the Opry in Gaylord.
in Nashville.
In
Hmm.
Nashville. And the
Hmm.
individual saw me. I was coming, Dr. Bobby Jones, the late Al Hobbs, Carolyn Trailer, and
Hmm.
Bishop William Murphy, along with this individual. They were all standing there, and I approached them to say hello, just to say hello. This person turned their
Yeah.
nose up at me. I had to tell this person, look, you eat, sleep, poop, and pee, just like I do. Get off your
Oh,
high horse. And I walked
yeah,
away, and Dr. Jones came to me later and says, wow. I wasn't expecting that. I told him, Dr. Jones, honestly speaking, I'm a person. I'm a people person. I don't
yeah,
care who you are. I told him, no disrespect, you included. I don't care how big you are. You're still a person. And that's the
yeah.
way I see you. But moving right along, enough with that. God bless you, Erica Campbell. Keep doing what you're doing. Here's one who is in a wrestling match for the 10th and the 11th spot. He was in 10 last week and they kicked him out. But he's holding
Yeah.
on tight to number 11 and staying close. When you look at the charts, the spins and everything, it is very close between him and the next one we're going to mention. But let's talk about Lamont Sanders. I think he's somebody that came out of nowhere because I don't have any background history on him as of yet. I haven't seen anything, and I got to look a little closer because he may have been there all the time, and I just didn't know it.
Now, this isn't his first song. I remember seeing him, over the past, and keep in mind that I've been doing countdown shows since 2015, and
Uh-huh.
this is how I know a lot of the artists. So I
Mm-hmm.
have seen his name come up, I think, at least twice before. So it's
Okay.
definitely not new. He's just kind of making his way slowly, and I think that's best than
Mhm.
coming out of nowhere. your first song goes straight to number one. That's never a good thing. It's
No,
like you. I think it's better
you
when
have no
you have
ceiling.
a slow
Yeah.
climb. Like the first album was okay. The second was better. The third one was great. Boom, I got a hit. I think that's a little bit better than just coming out of the box with hit, 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 hit. Unless you can keep doing it. And,
Well, we
how often
have
does that
just a
happen?
small handful that had the ability to do that.
Yeah,
And like, I'll go back to Yolanda Adams. I mean, I know she's not in our countdown that I know of at the
yeah,
moment, but I
yes.
remember when she first broke out with the Southwest
Uh,
Texas Choir and she did the song
yes,
Liberty, Sacrifice.
yes,
And I mean, she was an almost instantaneous hit from that point on.
yeah.
And all
Mhm.
she did was just climb from that point. So there are standard setters. We got Tasha Cobbs Leonard today, another
Yeah.
standard setter. Okay, Kirk Franklin, when he
But
first broke
her
out,
first album, see, you don't remember the first album. Her first album didn't do that. It was actually not the first one. Now I'm trying to think if it was the second or the third. But her first album, was good. Of course, they're always good.
yeah,
But a lot of people do not come straight out of the
no.
first project and boom, they've got a major hit. No.
But if I'm not mistaken, her first project did make the top 20, if it didn't make the
Okay.
top 10. So
Yeah.
she's good. But moving right along, I said that Lamont Sanders was in a wrestling match. And who better to be in a wrestling match for the next spot than Todd Delaney and Pastor Smokey Norfolk? Talk to me
Mhm.
about these two, my dear sister.
Well, I love this song. You remember we debuted it when it first came out, and we had
Mm-hmm.
already said this one's going
Mm-hmm.
straight to the top 10. Whether it goes to number one, I don't know as of this moment, but yeah, it's definitely a top 10 song, and it's a good one. Todd Delaney's had nothing but hits, one after the other, one after the other. Smokey Norfolk adding him just makes it even greater. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
this one
agree
will make
with
its way
that.
to
And
the top 10
having
and
been in
possibly another
having played pro ball, this brother, I mean, what a transition, huh? All right,
Yeah,
you're popular on the ball field, and then you're popular in at least gospel music in the music industry. But hats off
yeah,
to him, great job, always does well, always brings the standard. And when I say brings
yeah.
the standard, I just simply means he don't come back with sounding like he just broke out of a garage somewhere. Well, there are some that do it. We bless God for it. Well, in the number 9 spot, along with, and he's becoming a legend in his own right, but he's working with a legend in this particular song. I call him Dr. Charles Jenkins and Fellowship Chicago, featuring the legendary Miss Stephanie Mills. Some of you may remember Stephanie Mills when her debut from the Broadway play The Wiz, and she has
Yeah.
done nothing but climb. And she has had, I got to say, from a secular standpoint, some spectacular performances with different people like the late Teddy Pendergrass. But this song, Never Knew Love, inspirational, very well done. There's nothing else I can say. The arrangement on
Yeah.
it by itself with
Yeah.
Chicago and with Dr. Jenkins, I mean, it's just like phenomenal. Okay. And to see them in the number 9 spot, I would safely say they're in the top 10. Can they get to number 1? I think they got close, but I think 3 or 4 is as close as they got. So let's see what happens, because we've seen some bounce backs. We have seen some bounce backs. So let's wait and see what's in store for them. All right. Let's move
Yes.
to the next one.
Number 8. Now, this is my man. Every time I've seen Fred Hammond, I don't care how long it's been. He's always so very gracious.
Yes.
Such a wonderful guy. We took some.
Yeah.
If you look at my Facebook picture, you'll see some photos of myself and some of my other coworkers with him. And he's just like that every time. He has never been one of those that we seen him and he was tripping. No, never. Just always such a great host. He usually has some sort of after a concert, where he has like the media come up, and that's what we're doing. Just
Yes.
sitting and chilling. I can remember a few years back when it was Festival of Praise. I believe it was the first one. I believe it was the first one that came through our city. And of course, we were the media sponsors. So I said, you know what, we're going to host a meet and greet. And I
Okay.
actually, doing it in my grand style, I hosted a look-alike Fred Hammond contest and a
Wow.
sing-alike
Uh-huh.
contest. And it was huge. I mean, it was a huge promotion. We had people coming from everywhere. And you should have seen the guys who looked like him absolutely didn't look like
Yeah,
him.
he looked
I
like
mean,
he
it
had
was so
twins all over the country, huh?
the winner was 12 years old. And when we introduced him to Fred Hammond, Fred said, "Oh my God, that's me at 12." And he
Wow.
said he absolutely looked exactly like this boy. And I said,
This
I
guy.
said, he looks like his son. There was a few others that, looked at like him as an adult. But
Hmm.
I felt like this boy, I said, this boy looks like he could be his son, you know.
Hmm.
I said, Mom, she said, no. So he said,
No,
That's
hey, Mom, make a
tickled pink.
claim, make a claim,
Yeah.
Mom.
And Fred was just tickled pink about the whole thing. I ordered
Yeah.
like 1,000 chicken wings. I come into the dressing room, and Fred and my uncle, who was supposed to be out videotaping, were sitting in front of these chicken wings, and they were going to tell us, "Hey, those are for everybody."
They probably don't went through about at least 20 or 30 apiece.
I said, "You're supposed to be working, and you're supposed to be getting ready to sing." So it was a great night. I mean, it
But
was
it's
a
a
huge
good, you know what? It sounds like a good
yeah.
relationship, a
It,
very
it
good relationship.
absolutely was very good. And he kept calling me Nina Harris. I'm like, he said, maybe
Are
I'm
you
prophesying.
mad? He was marrying you off to somebody.
I know somebody named Harris. I said, I'll meet anybody named Harris, I'm running. So, but great guy. Love him. Every time he comes to town,
Yeah.
everybody is there. Everybody is there.
Well, I tell you, as we move forward, and we thank God for this opportunity, this young man right here, number 7, Ricky Dillard, all of my help. I met
Yes.
him down in New Orleans, and from the day he first hit the scene, even to that moment up to today, he is still crazy as a director. I'll never forget when the song, I know we're talking about all of my help, but remember when the song One More Chance came out? Oh man,
Yeah. Yeah.
if he wasn't a sick director when that
Yes.
song came out, if Ricky Dillard had mental problems, they were exposed. All right, but he did a wonderful job. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
down in New Orleans, I mean, at that time, place jam packed. Martha Manuzzi
Mm-hmm.
himself, Marvin Sapp. You know, it was a beautiful show. You know,
Yeah.
co-hosted that would actually hosted by Dr. Bobby Jones. And I had the privilege to show up on stage with him. So I
Mm-hmm.
put it like that. I didn't co-host with him. I just showed up on stage with him. Just happened to be there. I wonder how that happened. Thank you, Monica. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh, just
Uh,
so many
uh,
great memories
uh,
from the concerts. Okay, your boy Pastor Mike Jr.
I
Um,
remember when.
number 5 last week. He's down to number 6, which is not a bad spot to be. He's still in the top 10
No,
after all these
yeah,
years.
I'll agree,
So
but
yeah,
you gotta get him up. You gotta get him up.
it's been 30 weeks and he's still in the top 10, which I think is a
Bless
great.
God for that.
It's
You see,
still a great.
I gotta learn to understand that in this
Yeah,
industry, 1 minute you're on the top, the next minute you're not necessarily on the bottom, but you're no longer on the top. Pastor Mike Jr. has done well
he had
since he
his
broke
time.
onto the scene. So, you know, I could sit here and say, I remember when. I remember when. No, let me stop. I ain't gonna start no stuff. I love the song, always
You do.
have. I heard it before the Stellars. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact, the pre-release is actually what I heard, and that's when I fell in love with it. Then when they had him
yeah.
at the Stellars, I said, no, I should have been
It
there
was a
that
great
year.
performance.
I would
Great.
have loved to have been the one to introduce him on that
Mm-hmm.
particular. I'm not going to give you a snippet of what I would do, but I promise you, if you remember the Steve Harvey comedy series when he introduced Jesus, it would be
Yes.
almost that good.
Oh, you're a super fan, right?
Yeah, I listen, when
Yeah.
you got great music that moves me, and not a lot of
Yeah.
music moves me in this day and age, but listening to him, it's my era. He's the tail end of my era,
Do
but
we know
not
how old he
really.
is?
No, he's not really the tail end of my era. His music
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
reminds me of my era. You know, I ain't that old, folks, by the way. Okay.
No.
Still under 100, but over 50. That's all you need to know.
I'm starting using now. I'm under 100, right?
I ain't messing with you.
Yeah.
She's actually a teenager, y'all. Look at her. That's
No,
what I'm saying. She's a
no, not
teenager.
a teenager. I would. No, I actually don't even wish to be a teenager anymore. Number 5, James Fortune, Never
Yes.
Let Me Down. Another great song. When I first heard it, I had to take a minute because it actually starts, it's a tricky song. It
Yes.
starts off really slow and then it's like, boom,
Hmm.
it rocks. And I
It
love
rocks. It does. And
Yes.
FYI, he's another one of those artists. We talked about J.J. Harrison not that long ago. Another one of
Yeah.
those artists that it used to be James Fortune and Fire, but now it's just
Hmm.
James Fortune. There are others like that, but
Maybe Fire will come back. We don't know.
Fire is probably still there. They just don't mention
Yeah.
it much. But again,
Yeah.
it's the way they do things nowadays with the economy,
Yeah.
still dealing with COVID. There's a lot that
Yeah.
they can and or cannot do, so they have to make some improvisions uh, along the way. But moving right along as we get close to our time, Tamala, man, as you always say, slow dragging us all to heaven. He did it for me.
Yeah.
It's still, and you know how you talked about earlier, one of those songs that picks up speed and
Yeah.
picks up pace. This is one of those songs. It started out in a good place, but has
Hmm.
moved to a better place and is now in an even better place, despite the fact that she was at one point number one. And just last week in the number 2 spot, she may have dropped down a couple of spots, but her music still holds a special place in the heart of America. So we
Wow.
just bless God for well, she's like that. She has become, I don't want to say the Cinderella, but the darling of gospel music. I mean, I know we would say Jacqueline Carr, we'd say Tasha Cobbs, but the one who she is along the lines of a Yolanda Adams in terms of surging. I don't want to use the word popularity, but for lack of a better word, popularity. She is
Hmm.
becoming a household name. Not to mention the
Absolutely.
fact she's a great actress and, she
Hmm.
does so many other things. And with that crazy husband of hers, how can she ever have a moment's rest? I believe that man keeps her in stitches laughing on a daily basis.
Now, did you hear David was, there are a couple of the morning shows do prank calls,
Mm-hmm.
and they called David Man, and
Uh-huh.
he kept trying to make him flip. I think the objective of these calls is to make the person flip out because they've called a lot of church folk. They called somebody and told them
Yes.
they were out too much, and girlfriend just went in on them. They call, it's always. I think the objective is to make the person snap.
Uh-huh.
Well, David was just so cool. He said, "See, you're trying to make me jump out of myself, and I'm not going to do it." He was just
Amen.
so,
Amen. But
he
I
just
think
made
he
things
knew.
just cool.
I
Yeah.
kind of think he knew.
He may not have known, I don't know, but he was just so cool about the whole thing. And when I said anybody else would have snapped long ago. So,
Mhm. I'm gonna tell you because I mean that person that we're talking about, that show we're talking about. I hope
yeah.
you never call me because I recognize and I'm a voice recognizer. I recognize voices. So if I hear that voice, I'll play along and I'll say, "Okay, if you wait for me to snap, I will be down in that part of the country in about 2 days. We can talk face to face. Okay, such and such a person." Well, listen, we're going to move to number 3, and this young lady has taken the gospel world by storm. At 14, she made her way and entered in. I mean, she's not the youngest artist, but she's among the youngest, but she is an impactful artist.
Yes.
Jacqueline Carr, her song entitled My Portion. I was just listening to that on my way in when I called
Yes.
you prior to the show. That song
Mhm.
is what I was listening to.
Love
And
it.
I believe
Yes.
I'm not sure if you called me back. And about the time you called me back, the song was like toward the end. I said, "You had to call me now." No, let me stop. All right, I'm telling on myself. But anyway, love the song. I really do. I'm just, I'm so excited for where she's going. They did
Yeah.
a video. I don't know if it was TikTok, Instagram, or something, and she
Mhm.
came in plain clothes and she passed by this cloth, and the way the cameraman did it, when she passed by the cloth, she came out fully dressed, made up, and ready to go on stage to do whatever it is she did. That's a transformation. And when I say that, it's because you look at where she was when she first started, look at where she
Mhm.
is now, and even better, look at where she's headed. Look at
Amen.
where she's headed. Jacqueline, 2 thumbs up from yours truly, and I'm an OG, okay?
Number two, are we at number two? Yes, we're at number two. Dawkins and Dawkins are steadily trying to fight their way to number one. Well, if they don't do it, then in the next week, probably won't do it. That's just been my experience, but we'll see. They're in number two right now with their song Come By Here. Again, great duo, great production team. Just looking for more great songs from them.
Yes. And I'll say this about them also. They give gospel hip hop a leg up, being able to be in the top 10. Because if you recall back in the day, and I'm going to make this very quick so we can get to the number one song. Back in the day, gospel hip hop was frowned upon, believe it or not. And here we are today. Yeah, even here we are today.
I was looking at a station that was like, because I remember their first album. Remember the song, Not Just Anybody? I love that song.
Yes.
And I had it. I owned it, but couldn't play it on the radio because they were
and you know what? There was a lot of that.
At that time. By the time 2000 rolled around, we had become extremely contemporary, and we started playing gospel gangsters.
Yeah.
And, so it changed. When you first start out, we really didn't know, how contemporary we could be.
What was going to happen.
Yeah, we didn't know. So
yeah, but thank God it worked out. Listen, we got to get to the number one song. We got just a couple of minutes left here. This is the Gospel Express, that beautiful woman on my right, your left, the lovely Nina Taylor. I'm Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr. We want to thank you for joining us. But now let's get to the number one song. And since this is your boy, your man, your friend, your artist, I'm going to step back and let you do the honors.
Well, I haven't met him yet, but I have had him on the show. Which was absolutely very, very good, very gracious, just so humble, and just like he said, he can't believe everything that has happened to him since winning Sunday Best, since being the first male to win the show. Every year, female, but that is no more. We've had lots of male winners since him. But my congratulations to him. This is the second week in a row for his song Still Gon' Trust. So congratulations. I love the song. If you've seen the video, you'll love it even more. The video is nice. He's in the studio at the beginning of the video, and he just kind of takes you through the journey of everything that's happened since 2020. So congratulations, Joshua, on the number one. And remember now, you can connect with us on all social media outlets. Just go to my website at msninataylor.com, and you can join us there. Pastor?
Amen. Yeah, what she said. Anyway, we thank God for you joining us. We'll catch you on the next countdown. The Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you. Enjoy your day.